What is going on, guys? The long-awaited update is finally here, and boy is it a lot. I know it took forever to get in, but was it worth it? Honestly, probably. Um, I know it made a lot of people mad, but it actually looks stunning, the new update, and it performs really, really well. We've only found a couple of bugs so far, but so far the plants are working as they should. Haven't found any hiccups really with it. Obviously, some user error things, but other than that, it's actually performing really nicely. As you can see, the plants look amazing. This was our first version that we built as we were learning the system. You'll see here the um, other plant in a little bit, but for right now, this is the main one on the new save. Came out really nice. The only complaint is that it's really long, which is actually something that I worked on the second version of the plant. So we'll take a look at that later though. These new conveyors and the power, this is what everyone wants. Everyone wants it, and we have it now, finally, after all this time. So, what do we need to know about the basics? Well, on the pay dirt side of things, not a lot has changed. For like the production stuff mostly, nothing really changed. The trommels here, there's only one now, there isn't three, which love hate with that. The only trommel is the conveyor sorter. I didn't actually like the conveyor sorter. I use regular trommels, not the conveyor sorter, so I'm not a huge fan of it, but take what you can take. So nothing has changed with it. The only thing is that the output now goes backwards on it, which makes some complications in building things. I've worked out this nifty little system here where it just drops down a level, so that way I can get the nifty little power units on it to speed it up, and then turn it off to the sides, and then to shorten the width, instead of using another conveyor left, I just have it drop down to the width I want, and bada bing bada boom, it's all nice and tidy. The last conveyors, I made some pretty awesome mega plants. My goal now with these, I'm going to try and make it as small as possible. This one isn't obviously that, it's pretty long, but I wanted it like that. I kind of wanted, this area is the pay dirt, this area is kind of the coal, and then the next area is all the crushing stuff. So I will try and make a mini plant sometime in the near future, but for now this is what we got. And new sluice box. So the sluice box is kind of what I thought it'd be. It has its own inventory storage, so you don't need to run it to a storage, it just isn't. But something nifty that they did is they actually left the wash plant in the game. So if we go to the production, it looks the exact same as a sluice box, but everything goes out the end. It doesn't have any storage on it. It all goes out the end. So you could put another trommel after it, so that way it does separate it all and everything. But honestly, I'm probably going to stick with the sluice boxes on my plants. I think it's a really cool feature. And also, it's like the asphalt plant. It has water, but there is no water hooked up yet. They have not added that to the game yet. That'll be really cool to see with the asphalt plant and oil, and now the sluice boxes and the water. Next nifty thing that I like is the hoppers. There are 3 different sizes. So you have big double chutes, a big single chute, and then a small single chute. These are the small single chutes. And then down over here is a big single chute. Now what's nice about the big double chute is you can dump anywhere on this thing and it will equal out along these 2 lines. So we have some material in here. We'll go ahead and hit consume, and nothing is turned on right now. Okay, so that's something to know. When you restart your server, the power will turn off. So now we have to go through and turn everything on. So to turn everything on, you go to your power, speed adjuster things, multiplier things, and you have to turn them on individually. I paint mine blue, so that way I know what they are, and I can easily see them all. That one won't turn on. That's nice. Okay, well we don't really need it, it's just pay dirt. So you can see it all running. Again, it just goes out the back, goes down, comes off the side, and down into the sluice. Sluice has a really nice dirty animation too, and then we just have it auto selling into there. Really nice, and as per usual how it used to be. I'm actually really annoyed that this one isn't turning on, I don't know why. And I just put these conveyor ups on it because I didn't like these sitting up there, so I just moved it down here, was all. That's the only reason for that. So, pretty basic for that. The new hoppers are super nice, and then obviously the conveyors 4s, 1, 2s are all the same, just reskin, but they added a conveyor 3. I will not be using that. I liked balancing them with the twos and ones, so it's going to be hard for me to get used to that. Something that's a little weird is they added different stage up and downs, but not all adjustable. They're fixed. So 4x4, which is really just a 2x2, and they forgot to change the name, 8x6 and 8x4. So you had these different length ones to get it to the height that you want at the rate that you want. And next you have the coal shaker decks. This is interesting. I didn't expect this from them. This is a completely new one. This is a coal screen, they call it. That's the map. So the coal screen solely auto sorts coal, which is weird that they would add it in because you could already auto sort coal with the old stuff. So it's kind of weird that they did that. But hey, whatever. We'll keep our coal now and sell that on our sell times, whatever. And to do this, I merged these lines together, which really is going to kind of back it up, but I'm not too worried about it because, I mean, it's coal. It's not going to be that big of a deal, honestly. So I just have one line catching it all. And then every time you separate your lines from everything, so right here it's separated, right there it was separated, and over there, you had to re-put on your speeds. And to do so, obviously, you need your poles and everything. So just something to realize when you're designing your plants. Every time you break your line where you're not snapping off of it, you need to re-put on a controller. And so after our coal screens, we have a couple more hoppers. We're raising it up for our jaw crushers. Oh wait, I put this. Oopsie. You guys didn't see nothing. Definitely didn't see nothing. There might have been some dyslexia going on there. Whoopsie. Oh, shoot. Okay. So, after that, I just have you going through Jaw Crusher to the Cone Crusher to the Frother. What was it called? Froth Floater. This is also a new item. This is for gravel separation of your other ores. So this will involve a new ore as well. Well, not ore, material, tailings. Tailings are created from separating your ores from gravel and dirt. You also get tailings from the sluice box. Oh wait, no you don't. I lied. You only get tailings from this. It's kind of cool looking thing. It's worth absolutely nothing. Something that's weird. It says on the diagram here it goes out the top of your ores, but actually when we had it like that, they were going out the bottom. So make sure that you actually flip this around. So you want your ores out the bottom, your trash out the top. It's kind of weird how they missed that. I don't really know. It's all well, you know, it still works. They just gotta change the diagram is all. But yeah, so this will separate all your gravel from all your other miscellaneous ores, and I think we already ran some and you can see. Actually, I think it's just tailings in here from when, yeah, so you see there's some tailings from when they accidentally ran it wrong, according to the diagram, and we have everything else in here. Yay! So, pretty much all the same stuff for the production line, only a couple of new things, the coal screen and the froth tanks. The biggest change up is obviously the power. This is obviously the most complicated end of it that's going to be really hurtful for the beginners, so hopefully I can try and dumb it down as much as possible. So we have over here some reserve generators because there is green energy. So these generators here will power everything. They just need some fuel and they can power everything. So these lines here, the max lines that you can have, these are these poles, the max load that you can put on them is 3,600. Now this is just for our lights, so it's only got 40. Obviously we have some new lights. So on this pole you can see we're at 2,800. And on this one will be different as well. We're at 1,300 out of 3,600 maximum. If we go over 3,600, pop goes the weasel. You're going to blow all these poles that are on that line and have to replace them all. It's a big pain. Don't do that. To avoid that, the maximum for the windmills is 2. So we have 10 windmills over here and 5 sets of 2 on each. So each of these poles has a max load on them that they can push through if it's needed. Obviously on here it's not needed for this plant. It doesn't have that much for each section because it's in 5 different sections. So we have one section for our main hoppers, one section here for the sluice box and the run to the sluice box. I believe we put this on a different line. This is our stretch for the coal screens all the way to the end of the coal screen. After the coal screen, we have two different sections. We have the coal storage, and then we have the jaw crusher line. So the jaw crusher line is another section that runs all the way through and all the way to the storage. So actually that one might be our biggest capacity one. Let's see real quick. So this one is running at 800. That's not right. These aren't on. Yes, so now it's at 3000. So this is our longest and most powerful line at 3000 is what is needed. On the other plant, you can actually see the new animations too. On the other plant, our highest line is really pushing it at 3300 to 3600. So it's really pushing it on the limit with that. But, so pretty simple as for that. Don't push these lines over 3600 kilowatts, otherwise you'll pop it. So running it to everything. I found that you can't really connect one of these to the other. You have to connect them to pylons directly. I painted mine blue so that way I can easily identify them and turn them on as needed and off as needed. It's really bothering me that this one won't turn on. Oh, maybe because there's no cable to go into it. So let me show you guys the new cable thing. So you purchase your power cable, and it has this nice little stringy effect to it. You click on where you want and back to it. And now we can turn it on. There we go. That's nicer. So it's really simple with the power. It's just getting an understanding of not pushing over those power limits. This plant is probably too many sections. We probably could have sectioned it down. On the other one, we're running 3 sections. Yeah, we have 3 sections on it and only 6 wind turbines, so it works out really nicely. But like I said, this was our first iteration, and I wanted it to be longer, so it is bigger than the other one by just a tad bit. So yeah, that's kind of what the gist of the power to everything is like. You need to make sure that you're not going to blow anything, and rumor has it that these wind turbines and solar panels will shut off occasionally if quote-unquote wind dies down. I haven't noticed that happen yet, but that is what our backup generators are for. They take up a lot of fuel though. It's pretty rough honestly trying to deal with it. So I'll show you guys once more. So I don't have a super stacker in yet, so I'm just having to hit consume on our paste stockpile. But we hit consume and it's just eating up material, you can see. So our conveyor speed right now is 300 material a second. So that is 300 of whatever going through it, and conveyor load is 90,000 material cubed. Well, actually no, it'd be meters, yeah. 300 meters a second, yep, okay. And so it goes through this, goes through our sluice box, and you can just see these numbers run up now. Since we're running at max capacity, these are just chugging along, which is really nice to see. Splitters and mergers are a bit more utilizable now too. But as you can see, there's no other coal or rocks or anything going through, so only the pay dirt stuff is working, which is another reason why I kind of wanted it separated. Which kind of makes things just look nicer as a whole. And if you overload the storage on it, it will start to delete material. It won't just have infinite inventory anymore. So don't be dumping on your lines anymore. We kind of did that for a little bit with the super stackers, but not too much. So we're going to dial back down to just regular deposit pads before we do. Now, how can you make this line a bit smaller? So I did what we call the Z-plant method. So obviously this is actually really compacted down here, other than these lines right here that separate it. So this is pretty compacted. You could shove this in underneath here so that this was turned the opposite way around. I might do that on another plant, on like a compacted plant that's in the cut maybe. Maybe, I don't know. If we need another one, I might. But you can shove those inwards, cut these out, and then I will show you guys the Z plant. So this is Buck Ridge and its plant. We actually haven't named the plants yet. It's something I was thinking about as I was loading in. We haven't named these plants. They want a bit different design, which I don't blame them. Change up designs, don't do the same thing over and over again. They have a really cool water reservoir feature for theirs, with the sluice boxes further in it. And then separate the trommels as well, just to make a little bit more of a gap. And then the Z plant. So for those Hoffman family gold lovers, you'll understand that reference, and this is why. Actually, let me look at it from the other way, so that it actually looks like a Z. That just doesn't. Okay, there's the Z. So this is the most compact way that I've found to make the second portion smaller. This is all coal screen, jaw crusher, cone crusher, and then to the storage. So that takes all that and shrinks it down and just kind of stacks it vertically. So we have the coal screen up top with chutes going backwards into a hopper, and then out front of it, everything else goes into another hopper that then goes into the jaw crusher that dumps into a hopper that gives it to a cone crusher, and then it takes it away. So if you really want to shrink down a plant, you would do what we saw on the first plant, put the sluice boxes underneath the trommels, and then take the output of the trommel and put it into something like the Z plant here. So that way it gets really, really confined. It would kind of be tall, but realistically it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, it is decently tall. I mean, regular plants kind of are with the old jaw crusher style. They're really tall. So this wouldn't be too bad to implement onto a plant for size reasons. But that's just another way of building things. And as you can see here, we actually have 7 power line or 7 windmills. I think one line was like, oh, and they're running it dangerously close to maxing out. So you guys can see everything running. Is this running? Should be. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's going out the back. They just had some coal go through. So you can see the coal line running. And then we just had 3 main lines. We have 2 over here, one for the first section, one for the back section over there. And then the first section is actually really close to being overloaded. So this is where the third line goes. It goes to our super stacker, which is down here. Goes to our super stacker, takes it up, dumps it into here. This is what's dangerously close to overloading because it has a super stacker and the whole of the first section. So we're at 3338 of 3600. It's really, really close and on the edge. Yeah, that would probably push it over. So be very mindful of your sections and what to push the limits of. What's this one at? Yeah, that one's pretty low. This one's really low, so realistically we could add more onto this one if we need to, but it does work right now, so we're not complaining. And a helpful hint, we painted these gray light, so that way it blends in with the concrete pad and just doesn't stick out as much. Makes things a lot nicer with the color coding scheme of things, with having the electrical multipliers blue, and then just blending in the poles with the pad. But yeah, so that's a really basic rundown of the new plants and stuff. Obviously, I'll be coming out with some more designs and everything as we build them. We still have another mine to build these plants on, so I'll probably try doing a super compact version on that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for some more tutorials and helpful hints. And if I missed anything or want anything else covered, make sure to leave a comment and I'll get around to it when I can.